All right, it's that time again. Time for another solo overnight in the woods. And I'm thinking it's time to build a debris hut. So let's get to it. So we're talking about debris huts. Now keep in mind there's no right or wrong way to build a debris hut. You can build a debris hut with simply using debris, meaning sticks, trees, leaves for insulation. Or it can be a hybrid debris hut, meaning put a tarp over top of it, then land sticks across that for that extra waterproofing or insulating factor, meaning keeping your body heat inside. Then cover it with leaves, debris, grass, things like that. Today, I'm going to do it off the landscape. We have this tree right here. I showed you that clip earlier. Somebody had cut it off way in the past. Now it's all rotting right here. The bark's coming off of it. But we have a gap underneath. This end over here is higher than the end over here. So all I got to do is lift up that end, prop it up on a log, and it should be the same distance and give me that equal gap underneath. Now, a debris hut, think of it like a low-profile stealth shelter. Stealth aside, the important takeaway is a low profile. I want that debris hut low enough to where I have 1 to 2 fists length to the top of that structure to trap that heat. The height of our shelter I'm happy with. We said 2 fists length from my chest at the maximum. That way you're in a little bubble and you can get that heat to rise and be trapped in that shelter. This should work. We just got to add our ribs. Now someone's going to see the ground all cleared out and say, well, you know, what about sleeping on something? Now you're exposed to the mud. We'll cross that bridge when we come to it. For me, it's important. One of the 5 W's that you want to avoid is wildlife/wigglies. I don't want chiggers, I don't want ticks, I don't want ant piles, I don't want snakes in certain parts of the country. They like hide inside leaf piles. I'm going to remove all that, visually inspect it, and know I'm good to go. So on that note, let's go ahead and get some ribs in an A-frame style and drape them across here. I'm going to stick it right here. I'm going to use my tree as a ridge pole, and I want that stick to land about the center of that pole. And doing that here and here, that'll give me a good probably 3.5 foot in width. That way I can move around in here, toss and turn. But this looks like it's going to work. So as long as they're something like this or resembles this length, we're good to go. place the piece right there. I'm going to mark where I want to cut it. We're going to do our simple stop cut. And then break it right off. Boom. That simple. Mark it again. And that's the downside to this time of the year. The infamous sun glare. And there's nothing you can do about it. So we have our ribs, about 2.5 hours, and that was done. Doing those simple stop cuts. You can just break the wood, stick it on there. Everything here was dead off the landscape. Now we got to cover this thing with leaves. And like I teach and preach, if I have my choice of a tarp or a poncho, I'm carrying a poncho. Our first poncho is our bed. My second poncho I'm going to use to drag all these leaves over here. So on that note, we had better get started. And there you go. Now, how long did this take? With all the resources readily available right here, 5 hours. Now, if I had to walk hundreds of yards back and forth and up and down hills and down into ravines and back and forth, it could easily be 8 to 10 hours. So bear that in mind. But rolling with a minimum kit, if you're stranded somewhere and you had to make something for the night, this is a perfect example of what's possible. We're looking at about 2 foot thick all the way around, including the wood. And the real question is that thick enough? Right now we have no wind, no rain, we have clear skies. There's no snow in the forecast, so it probably will be just fine. Now, if you're stuck somewhere for multiple days and you have access to materials just readily available, every single day you want to improve your shelter. Tomorrow, I might want to put another foot up on top of this and all the way around. I might want to evaluate it. Did anything shift or move in the night? Did a gust of wind come up and blow the leaves off? I could also take logs and lay them on here, keeping those leaves down. So on that note, we're going to walk down here to the creek and we're going to get some water. In our video title, it actually says no warming fire. And a warming fire is just that. You're using it to warm yourself, warm your campsite, warm your shelter location, or warm the entire shelter. Because we have a debris hut where there's dry leaves and there's dead leaves everywhere, I'm not putting a fire up there. So I eliminated that from the equation. However, we're down here in the very base where the water actually is flowing. I'm going to light a fire right here, disinfect that water, and then head back to our campsite. Once that water comes to a rolling boil, it's going to be disinfected. That means viruses, bacteria, protozoas, and parasites are killed or rendered inert. In the meantime, my Etsy store is open. Once again, my Etsy store is open. What do we have this week? 100 Corporals Corner skillets dropping right now. We have the Frontier skillet, has a pipe nub, inserted stick, and you're good to go. We have the Cowboy skillet, my personal favorite, has a built-in handle, roughly the size of a number 40 cold handle skillet. The Frontier skillet and Cowboy skillet, this is going to be the last week we're going to sell those. So if you want them, go ahead and get them. And last but not least, we have the Corporals Corner folding skillet. It's got a built-in hinge so the handle opens and closes. Guaranteed space saver for any haversack, backpack, or even military harness butt pack. Once again, the Frontier skillet and Cowboy skillet, this is going to be the last week for those for a long time. So if you want them, go ahead and get them. 100 just dropped to my Etsy store, and that link is inside my video description box. Click on it, and good luck. So here we are, we're inside of our shelter. I have a good 6 inches before my elbow hits the top of this. I'm laying on my right side. See all the ribs behind me? We got about 2.5 feet over here before I actually hit that wall, so I can pull my gear in here if I wanted to. I have my secondary poncho. I can drape it over that door and plug it up, trap that heat. Let's go ahead and talk about the realities of a shelter like this. unless you're in dire straits, meaning subarctic temperatures, or it's going to dip down below zero, and you need to get somewhere hunkered away, trap that heat right now, and you can't have a fire, then you're going to want to attempt something like this. To be brutally honest, I have both my ponchos. I could have rigged up one of the dozen different shelters I already shown you several times, lit a fire, and been warm all night. But there's a time and a place for something like this, and it's important to know how to do this in case you have to. So if you haven't done it, get out and try it. Again, it's labor intensive, especially if you have to walk hundreds of yards to grab resources and bring them back, because this is the best area to camp at per the 5 W's: wind, water, wood, wildlife, wigglies, and widowmakers. And if your campsite fulfills all 5 requirements, and this is the only place you can be, and you have to walk, then you have to walk. But most of the time in the woods, you're going to have dead debris everywhere. If there's trees, you're going to have dead leaves everywhere. So why not take advantage of that? Not to mention, get some experience. If you haven't done it, get out and do it. Now, we've already talked about the skillets. Those that hammered through the skip button and missed it, the skillets are available right now on my Etsy store, and that link is in my video description box. Just go there, click on it, and get her done. These are the type of videos I've been talking about I wanted to get back to and do differently. And so, a couple times a month, 2 or 3 times a month, we're going to do some solo overnighters and get it done. We have a lot of things coming up this year that are going to be different. So look forward to that. On that note, I'm going to go ahead and shut her down. I'm here for the night. I got to get up early as hell to get back and edit so I can drop this tomorrow, Sunday. So we have to get it done. Other than that, same bat time, same bat channel, 10 o'clock a.m. Eastern time. Videos are going to drop, and the Etsy store is going to open. With that, all the gear in my videos can be found in 2 places. 1, my Amazon affiliate page, and 2, my Etsy store. Both links are found inside my video description box. Now, please do me that favor. Hit that like and subscribe button, then ring that notification bell. Once you ring that bell, please select all notifications. And as always, thank you for your comments, views, and support. Thanks for watching. Get out in the field, have some fun. I'm going to catch you. Can't do this. You next time.